Welcome back to Jacques in the Garden. Today we're going to be talking about growing onions. But not just any old onion, I'm talking about giant, sweet, juicy, delicious onions that anyone can grow at home if you just follow these 5 simple rules. It turns out that growing onions isn't actually that hard, but if you get your timing wrong and you don't respect the onion, you will end up with a small substandard crop. So in this video, we're not going to only cover just that, because at the end of the video, we're also going to be harvesting and talking about how to cure these onions so that you could enjoy them for months to come throughout the whole year. And by the end of this video, you will become an onion growing pro that could pull off any size onion they actually want. Just for context, right now it is mid-June. Summer solstice is 4 days away, so we're just on the cusp of summer, and we have to go back 5, maybe even 7 months in time to understand exactly what I did to get to this point. And the first thing that is most critical for anyone growing onions, no matter what, the most important thing is choosing the right variety. But I'm not talking about whether it's white, red, or yellow. I'm actually talking about the day length of that variety. When it comes to onions, they actually will begin to form their bulbs, their actual growth, once a certain daylight hour period has passed. So for example, here in Southern California, San Diego, I can only grow short day onions. Those are onions that take 10 to 12 hours before the bulb begins. Whereas if you're all the way up, say in Seattle, you could grow a long day variety because your days are actually closer to 14 to 16 hours in length. And why does this matter so much? It sounds like a bunch of gibberish. Well, basically, if I were to take a long day onion, something that required 14 hours of daylight to produce a bulb, I could be growing it in my garden, and right on summer solstice, I would get 14 hours. Maybe the bulb would grow just a little bit, but then it's done. So you're not gonna actually get a proper bulb from your onion. You're just going to get a green onion, basically. And in the same exact case, if I take one of these short day onions and I plant them up north, what's gonna happen is that onion's gonna start bulbing right away before it even has leaves or a proper root system to support actually growing a big bulb. And in between long and short day onions, there's also the intermediates. That's like the center of the country here in the United States. But basically just Google the area you live in and also day length onion, and you'll figure out exactly the right type for you. Once you know the right type of onion for the area that you're in, it's time to talk about how to actually get that onion growing. And for that, I would always recommend that you actually start them from seed. And what I like to do is use our 16 cell trays here, because onions, they don't actually grow very fast. In fact, you need to start your onions 10 to 12 weeks before your last frost in order to get them just big enough to put in the ground as soon as possible. When you're starting onions from seed, I find that they always grow bigger. You'll never get an onion this big, for example, if you grow it from sets, which are those tiny little onions that you could transplant. Sets are convenient, but they never really reach the true potential of the onion, and you end up with something quite small that's not very satisfying. And if you don't have space to keep your seed trays for 10 to 12 weeks, or you simply don't want to grow them from seed, I would recommend getting transplants either at your local nursery or from somewhere online like Dixondale Farms, which I have no association with, I've never spoken with, but I have ordered onion starts from them before, and they're always fantastic. They're not that expensive, and you could set them to ship right on your last frost date so that you have your onions in hand, ready to go once your garden is. Now that we've covered starting your onions and the variety, it's time to move on to number 2, which is timing and sunlight. As you can see right here, I'm in full shade, and that's exactly what you don't want for your onions at the time that you transplant them. So when I planted this whole field of onions out, it was way back at the end of January, and there was no flowers here, definitely no tall straw flowers like this, and this area had full sun for the winter time. And really, when it comes to growing onions, the first half of their life is by far the most critical when it comes to getting the right size, because every one of the leaves that forms on this onion is actually what allows the bulb to grow. So if you give it plenty of sunlight early in the season, especially at planting time, they'll be able to develop more leaves, more roots, which means that you will end up with a bigger onion. So make sure you get plenty of sun, and also the sooner you put your onions out, the bigger the onion's going to get. So here in San Diego, like I said, I put them out in January. Wherever you are, make sure you get them out there basically right after your last frost has passed. The third rule when it comes to growing perfect, delicious onions is to respect their needs. And their needs are good soil and good fertility. When it came to prepping the soil, in particular for this area, I actually grew a cover crop over in the fall that I chopped and dropped through the winter, buried with compost, which means that this whole section of my garden is loaded in organic matter. And organic matter is what the soil microorganisms consume to feed your plants. And ultimately, that's probably helping a lot when it comes to the size of these onions. But the other thing I did is I added fertilizer. This year I've been talking a lot about fertilizer, and I've been trying to follow the labels as they recommend it to see how much of an impact it has. And honestly, it might be having a real impact here. So what I did is I used an allium or garlic specific fertilizer. Alliums are anything like onions and garlic, they're all related, but basically this is formulated for garlic or onions and it has everything they need. But the most important thing, if you can't find a specialty fertilizer like this, is to look at the 3 numbers. And in this case, it's a 5-2-2. So the biggest number, 5, that is for nitrogen. And nitrogen is really what you want in the early part of the season when you're growing something like an onion, because nitrogen is what produces leaves. And the more leaves you have, the more roots you have, the more roots and leaves you have, the bigger your onion is going to get. But like I said, if you can't find something like this, just look for something that has the first number being the highest. So in this case, this is a citrus avocado fertilizer because citrus and avocado also both need nitrogen. So it's a 7-3-3, and this would also be a great option for growing onions and garlic as well. The 4th rule is the golden rule because it applies to all plants that you're growing, no matter what they are, and it's all about spacing. Now in this case, what I've done to every single one of the onions that you see here is they're all spaced exactly 6 inches apart. So right here I have a little ruler, here's 0, here's 3, and here's 6. So I wanted to show you basically that from 0 to here, that is a roughly 6-inch onion, maybe closer to 5. And then the next onion is right next to it, the next one is right next to that, and they're basically reaching right up against each other. Now some of the yellow onions, which can grow a lot bigger, as you could see right here, they're actually touching up right against each other, so they've kind of reached their maximum potential there. Now, if you didn't want a giant onion, and I could understand why somebody wouldn't want an onion this big, it's kind of a lot of onion to eat, then you could just simply plant your onions a little bit closer together. So if you did like 3-inch or 4-inch spacing, your onions will actually probably end up being 3 to 4 inches in size. Because if you think about 6-inch spacing, so 6 inches from here to here, that means that in every direction the onion can grow 3 inches before it hits the next onion. And that's really going to be what controls how big that onion can get, because if it starts pushing against another one, it's really not going to get much bigger. Now, how did I do my spacing in this case? I did it using my drip irrigation. So if you look right here, these are the 2 drip emitters right here and here. They're exactly 6 inches apart. So all I did is I laid my drip tape out and then planted an onion seedling every single place I have a drip emitter. And that does 2 things. First, it controls the spacing to be 6 inches. And number 2, it ensures that each and every single one of these onions has its own source of water. And watering is definitely one of the most important things when it comes to growing onions as well. And rule number 5 is of course all about watering, because watering is one of the most important things for any plant, but in particular for the onion in the first half of its life. If it does not get enough water, it simply will become a pathetic sad onion that'll probably flower early and leave you with a pitiful mess of an onion. So, couple tips for the early part of the season. When you first transplant your onions, they might look really sad at first because onions really don't have that big of a root system. If I were to pull this guy right here, you'll see that obviously I ripped some of them, but there's really not that much going on. They're not that wide, they're not that big, they don't seem to go that deep. So when it comes to watering, you want to make sure that they're actually getting water right where the onion is, and that's exactly why drip irrigation works so well. Each one of these emitters on here is giving the right dose of water right to the root zone of each plant, and that's going to ensure that it gets properly sized. You want to do this on a regular basis, have a timer. Don't just sporadically water your onions. Make sure that the soil is some level of moist all the time. And speaking of moist, when the onions are actually at this stage, when they look quite big and the necks have started to flop over like this, you want to actually cut your water entirely. If you keep watering them at this point, they will begin to rot instead of actually grow any bigger, and you're actually going to just hurt yourself in the process. So with that being said, when is the right time to harvest an onion, and why is it that it's right now? So rule number 1 when it comes to onions and whether they're ready is to check the neck. You see this onion right here, how the neck used to be like this, is now flopped over on the ground. This is pinched off, the whole thing's flopped, and what that signifies is that onion is no longer getting any photosynthesis energy, it's not connected to the top anymore, and there's really nothing going on at this point. So the onion has stopped growing, it's reached its full potential, and that is why you don't want to water it once those necks break. And again, once those necks break, the onion's not growing anymore, and that's exactly why it's the perfect time to actually harvest those onions and get them to the curing process. Now, one more thing to mention about harvesting the onions before we get into the curing is that you don't want to just grab the neck and yank on it, because if you do, there's a very good chance you'll rip the neck and spoil the actual storage potential of the onion. What you want to do instead is just grab your onion, pull it towards you like so. The roots should break nice and easy, and now you've got yourself a really quite remarkable, beautiful onion ready to cure. And now it's time to harvest this whole field of onions and get them over into the curing area. And when it comes to curing, we're going to be talking about which onions are worth curing, which ones you should eat first, and how to actually cure in the first place. But before we do that, I did want to share the varieties that I have here. The two yellow onion varieties are Texas Legends and Yellow Granix. The red varieties are Southern Belle and Red Creole, and the white one is the classic white Bermuda onion. So all of those have done quite well for me here in San Diego. Anywhere that wants a short day onion, these ones should do well just for you. So now it's time to pop all these onions. And again, we're gonna make sure we're popping them from the base and not yanking them by the neck. And now it's time to talk about curing our onions so that they could actually last a long time in storage. And that's really the main reason you're actually curing onions, is to give them some ability to store. Now, first of all, short day onions tend to be a little bit sweeter. They will simply not store for as long as a classic, spicy, pungent, long day onion that you could grow in northern latitudes. So no matter what, I'm going to have to figure out how to eat all these onions probably over the next 3 to 4 months if I'm lucky. So it's definitely going to be onion heavy season right now. But the main thing that we're doing here is we're trying to dry the neck out. Now, when you buy an onion at the grocery store, you always kind of get them as a nice neat ball, and you could barely even tell that there was a neck in the first place. Now, the reason why the neck of the onion pinches itself and collapses is so that it can actually seal that neck up and the onion can actually last a long time in storage. So the goal of curing process is to make sure that the onion is drying, the roots are fully dry, the top has fully gone dry, and that way when you bring it in for storage, it'll actually last a long time and not just spoil as soon as you go reach for it. The way I like to do this is twofold. Basically, if you're in somewhere like sunny San Diego, you could do this outside. Anywhere where it's hot and dry at this time of year, you could cure your onions outside just fine. You just want to do it under the shade of a tree. You don't want your onions in full sun as they're curing, because it's just going to lead to drying them out, cracking them, and things like that. So what I have here is a simple table with just some welded wire fencing attached to it. And all I'm doing here is I'm taking my onion with the neck, I push it through the table bottom like so, and then I leave the onion root facing up. This way the neck kind of keeps it in place a little bit, makes it easy to organize, and I could just peek from below, check if my onion tops are still green or brown, and then I'll know whether they're basically ready. So what I'm going to do now is lay all these out. But before I do that, let me show you an example of an onion that's going to store really, really well. Hint, it's this one, and one that probably won't last very long in storage process. If you take a look at these two onions, you'll notice that there is something different going on. Let's start with this one here. First of all, the neck has pinched itself, it's flopped over, but if you look at the whole onion itself, there's a nice papery skin all the way on the outside. There's no cracks in it. It looks ideal. Once this one is fully dried and ready, it's going to pinch off really tight and it's going to store for probably the longest out of any of the onions in here. Now for comparison, we have this giant onion, and what you see here is the inner onion has been exposed. It basically grew so big that the onion cracked, split a seam on the outside, leaving there no paper to protect the inside of the onion. This is an onion, for example, that I am not going to bother keeping in deep storage. I will let it cure and dry down a little bit before bringing it inside, but this is going to be in the pile of onions that I eat first because it's simply not going to last as long with a crack in the onion itself, just like this. As I'm laying these onions out, you'll notice that I'm not putting them on top of each other. I'm putting them side by side, and I want the necks down so they have extra airflow. If you put them on top of each other, they won't dry as quickly. Basically, the name of the game here is that we want these onions to dry as fast as possible, which happens in the 80 to 90 degree range. And if you have that, then you should be golden and they should cure extra fast. I fit as many onions as I could on my onion curing table, but this year the onions were so big that I couldn't fit them all. So I built a second little platform, placed it in the shed, because I think a lot of people at home cannot dry them outside. Maybe it's too humid or you have rain. So let me show you how to set it up inside, and we'll also check back after like 3 or 4 days and see how different the ones out here are compared to the ones that were dried inside. Very simple drying table, same idea, except it's just hardware cloth. So all I'm going to do is lay these onions on top. The idea behind this is that this will protect it from any humidity. They'll probably get really hot in here in the daytime, and hopefully they'll dry even faster by using the shed. You may have noticed that before I placed all these new onions, I already had some that were drying. So let me show you what it looks like when your onion is fully cured. This right here is an example of one that is 100% ready. The first thing I look at is the roots. You could tell that they're really dry. They feel kind of wiry. There's no moisture left in them. But the main test is up here at the neck. When you grab the neck and you pinch it, you can't really move your fingers. See how I'm trying to like slide? I'm trying to do this motion. If I do that on the neck and it's dry, there's no motion. So that's how you know that it's ready to trim, bring inside, and store. So what I like to do is I will go to the bottom, I'll chop those roots off, just like so. I'll come to the top, maybe about 2 inches above the onion itself, like that, chop it, and this is what I'm gonna bring inside to use in the kitchen, to store, and this will be the perfect onion that should last a few months. Now, there are some examples like this one here that looks like it's done. The roots are all dry, the top looks mostly dry, but if I pinch it, I could slide my fingers really easily. So this one still needs probably another half week or so. And of course, if you have a green onion where the neck is still green, you could pinch that and you could feel it slipping all day. So this onion, definitely not ready. It'll probably take about 2 weeks. Now that we're just on the cusp of summer, they should dry even faster and hopefully they'll last a long time. So with that, you guys now know everything you need to know to grow perfect, ideal, maybe even giant onions at home, and how to cure them and store them so you can enjoy them over the next coming months. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.